Hey, welcome to another episode of Bacon on the Rocks. And to all you bacon heads, we welcome you once more. I am here with Chris and Eric, and tonight's show is all about personal spooky stories that we've experienced throughout our lives. Because you know what? Fall has come, and now is the time that, just all the spookiness comes out. I guess once it hits like that October 1st, like everything just switches over immediately. I guess some people try to count September as like a fall Halloween, but a lot of people call them out and say, no, Halloween doesn't start until October 1st. So we are recording. It's October. Fall's hit. The air's getting crisp outside. The leaves are changing. Everybody's going and looking at the leaves. So now's the time to be talking about some spooky stuff. And we've been kind of going through talking about different things we want to do. And the one we came up with to start off this whole entire October with is spooky personal stories. Now, I want to start with Chris, because Chris, I think you were alluding to, you have a story that you were trying to tell us one time. We're like, wait, let's save it. Let's save it for when we actually get into October and we're doing more Halloween type spooky stuff. So Chris, I want you to take it away, and let's start off with a spooky personal story that you actually you actually have. Okay,
so it was basically it was at this point it was probably like 20 years ago. I was definitely in my early 20s. I had just started out working for the television station, and one of the reporters there decided to do this series with these ghost hunters. Okay, so it was like a 3-part thing, and we met up a couple different groups locally that did it. I don't remember their names. I don't even know if they're still active or not at this time. But one in particular, we did it at a place called the Alexander Hamilton, which at the time was a restaurant and bar in like the basement, and now I believe Hamilton College owns the place. But it's like a historic mansion-like area, I guess you would call it. I think it's called the Alexander Hamilton because he slept there once or something like that. I don't know what the story is. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So allegedly the place is haunted, obviously, if these ghost hunters are going to go and do their thing there. And so, I had previously done, I think, two other groups, and it was kind of like, I don't really want to do this again, but this is what the assignment is at the moment. So I go to this thing, we go and we walk up, and we walk in the building, and it's like basically what you would expect from like a ghost hunter type of situation. It's a bunch of like, let's just say ghost hunter type people that you would expect to find there. And all of a sudden, like this woman who is, probably also in her early 20s at the time, comes up and greets me and the reporter. And she says immediately to the reporter, she goes, you have the spirit of an old man following you around. And so I'm just like,
what?
Yeah, that was my reaction at all. I was like, what? And first of all, like I'm like probably, I don't know, 22, 23 at the time. And this girl was like extremely attractive. Like it was like distracting how attractive this girl was. And I'm just like in awe of this whole thing, and then we come to find out that her name, I don't know if I should say her name or not, but she was
You can make up a name and we'll go with it. Does she look like an Amber? We'll call her Amber. Hey, Amber.
Oh no, it rhymes with let's say it rhymes with Lady Craven. Okay. If you lose one of those words or letters, you get it anyway. Anyway, so she comes up and starts talking to the reporter about how this, older gentleman is the spirit of some older gentleman is following her. And this is how I meet this girl. Okay. And so I'm, first of all, I'm distracted by like how attractive she is. I'm like a young man. I was single at the time, and I'm just like, what is going on here? So, comes to find out she's not like technically like affiliated with this group, but like she shows up every once in a while when they want to bring a psychic in to try to like contact the ghosts or whatever. So so they're set up in this one room, it was kind of like a large, like the main dining room, I guess, at the time. And they got like all these like infrared cameras about and like recording equipment, and they're trying to record audio and stuff like that. Yep. So, I mic up this psychic girl, and I'm following her around with the camera. And so initially I had my top light on because it was completely black in there. And then they asked me to asked me to like turn it off. So I was like, okay, well, the video's not going to be great, but whatever. So I'm following this girl around the Alexander Hamilton in the dark. Okay. It was just me and her in the, like, going into, cause she was like getting readings or something. So she's like following it. And so then eventually we make our way into the women's bathroom. Okay. And there's no windows in there. Okay. She's like, before we went in there, she said, I'm getting a really strong reading. Oh, it's a woman. She's wearing a Victorian era dress. It's like white, and it's like, and she goes, oh, and she, like she's describing this thing. And I'm in the dark with this girl that I just met that, greeted the girl that's saying there's a spirit following her. And I'm just like, what is going on right now? So then she says to me, the spirit wants to know why we're here. And I'm like, tell her we're friendly. That was my reaction. And
not trying to bust her.
We come in peace, I don't have any, proto packs or anything like that. We're just, this is just a camera, So she goes,
don't cross the streams.
The girl's like, she's scared. She went into the bathroom. So we follow her into this bathroom, and it's completely black in there. Okay. I can like make out the silhouette of the girl I'm with, and we're standing in this bathroom, and she's like, the girl just starts going, oh God, she's gonna come full apparition. She's gonna come full apparition. I can feel it. And I'm just like, hairs, even telling the story right now, the hairs on the back of my neck are like standing up. And like, I'm just sitting here in awe of this whole thing. And obviously nothing ended up happening. But allegedly there was this, Victorian era woman who was lurking in the building or whatever. And like, I don't know. It was the most surreal, one of the most surreal experiences of my life, because like here I am in this like young single guy, and I'm like, let me see if I can move in with this girl here. But then all of a sudden she's like talking to spirits and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to get involved in all that, And like I didn't sleep. Like I remember I didn't sleep well for like probably 2 weeks after that. I was like, I didn't like being alone in the dark and stuff like that after the whole incident. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I'm doing the story justice to the way it was when I was living it, but it was like, it got intense for a few minutes there.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, Chris. So let's say, if you can remember, before you went to do this shoot and you had all that stuff going on, were you, and I should have asked this, like, even to you, Eric, I should have asked all of this before we even started. Like, do you feel that there is that, like, a ghost, that there are, paranormal things like that are actually real? Do you feel like, you see all these paranormal shows on TV? Like, do you feel they're just hyping it up, that, yeah, maybe there's a noise, but they're making it sound like, or tell you what they want it to sound like? Or do you really feel like, what? Do you really believe in ghosts? I guess is the point of the question.
So I feel like you're asking two completely different questions. Do you believe in ghosts is one question. That's
yes,
one.
That's the main question
that you really should have asked. Yes.
Yeah.
So then there's also, I completely think like most of ghost hunters type of stuff is all completely Hollywood. Yeah, it's noises are made, things are done, this sounds like this, and they'll play it back whatever way necessary to make it sound like that.
Exactly.
But do I believe in ghosts? Sure.
Okay. Now, Chris, go ahead, Eric. Finish your thought.
Go, Chris first.
Okay, Chris, because I was going to say to you, like, did you believe in ghosts and stuff like that before you, and I don't know, you still may not, even though it sounds kind of like after that story, you kind of like maybe were a little bit. But did you believe in ghosts before you went and did that shoot?
Well, I'm open to the idea.
Do you remember? I know.
I'm open to the idea of ghosts, but like I've never seen one myself. But like I remember on the way to that shoot, I was just like, this is going to be just some other BS thing where you know they're going to tell me that these little things floating around are ghosts, like on the infrared cameras, when it's probably just like dust in the air or something like that, you know.
The orbs,
yeah, the orbs, and then it's actually like just dust flying.
It's just the way the light's hitting dust and reflecting in the camera. Yeah, that's all that is.
I know. Because the only thing that I had told you guys about that I had, and it wasn't even, I did the same thing basically as Chris. So I'm not going to bore you with the whole story, but I was working with someone else, and we were doing a local TV show here back in like 2009, 2010. And so it was getting towards Halloween. I was like, it'd be cool to kind of go with a ghost hunting team here locally if we could, and see if we could like follow them for one of them, because that'd be, it'd be an interesting show, I figured. So we actually did connect with a local ghost hunting team here in the area, and we went, and I'm sorry, it was like 10 years ago. I tried to look for the footage before tonight so I could actually kind of refresh my memory on everything that happened. Because, and Chris, I mean, good for you that you can remember that. It's like when I'm running camera and doing video and stuff like that, it's like I'm not paying attention to everything else going on around me. I'm trying to piece together what I'm trying to do for what would be the show. I wasn't like focused on an actual apparition or anything happening unless it literally showed up. So long story short, it was a house in the middle of nowhere. That was the biggest and creepiest thing of this whole entire shoot, I would say, is, you drove up this really, really long driveway. You're going through woods and all that, and you looked around you, and there's nothing but trees. And there's this one kind of like old-looking, not log cabin, but just an old-looking house. And this guy called the ghost hunters that we were with, and to just kind of like evaluate his house, see if there's anything really going on, see if they could get any results.
Who you gonna call?
And so I went there with one camera that I thought was a night vision camera. Well, that failed miserably. It wasn't, because we did like that things where it's like, oh, the lights have to be off, and they just did like the questioning, like, to who it is that we are speaking to, can you make a noise? Let us know you're here. They do all that stuff, and I'm like not focusing on what they're saying because I'm trying to get the camera to like focus on somebody, because I knew where they were. I could see them in the dark, but the camera was failing miserably. So I was doing everything I could to try and find a little bit of light somehow to see their faces, maybe from their own video cameras or anything like that. And it was, I didn't really focus, but that's probably the closest I've ever been to like being in a situation where possibly ghosts would be around. Do I think there are ghosts? I guess I want to say yes. I kind of want to believe that there's something, but I've never experienced it. And I feel the day I do, that's probably one of the biggest things that might ever scare me in my life, especially if it's a scary ghost. I don't like ghosts. I really don't. Like as a little kid, and we'll get into movies and stuff later. Like let's just put it this way. I couldn't get into scary movies until I was like much older. Like as a kid, teenager, never watched a scary movie at all until I got to maybe college, and then I started, and I still don't even push it that much. I don't like scary. I don't know why. That's just me. But again, we'll get into movies and stuff later on. But yeah, so I would say, I do believe that there's something. Do I really want to experience it though? Personally, not if I can help it. Because I do psych myself out sometimes. So it's like, no, I'm good. But yeah, that's the one story I have that's even close to being a scary story, and it's not even that scary. The results of that whole entire thing with the ghost hunters is that it was inconclusive. So they never really got a end result in that whole entire video, that whole entire project. It was inconclusive, no results.
Isn't it always?
Again,
though?
the guy was. I hope he.
I was going to say, I love how the answer is never going to be a no, though. It's never going to be no. Not by saying
it's inconclusive.
It's inconclusive. We didn't get anything that night, so we can't say for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. We don't want to say.
We got no evidence whatsoever.
The only thing I can remember with the house and why they were investigating is I guess there was a death. like someone was killed there or someone died by a murder of some sort or like that, and that's why we were investigating it. So, because and see, as I begin to think about it more, someone was killed there, and a person was. It was like a husband or like the brother of someone that committed the murder on. I think it was like his sister-in-law or the daughter of like his brother, and so he got convicted and he was hung. And so they just wanted to see if the spirit of this person was there anymore. I think that was the story. Now that's going to bug me. I'm going to keep looking for this footage. I know I am. And then I'll if I can find it, I'll share it. But yeah.
Yeah, I got my story.
That's my ghost
somewhere.
story.
I got the footage somewhere of my thing.
Do you?
Not the raw. The raw would have been better, I think. But I have the finished story. But the raw footage like would have been more of like this girl being like saying all these weird things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, my story isn't that spooky or scary, but that's the closest I got right now. But I'm continuing to think. I swear there might be more, but we'll see how as this goes on. Eric, you got anything for us?
So one of the things that sticks out in my mind, like I don't have any actual interactions with ghosts, much like you guys seem to have not
Pursued
also.
Well,
you
we
guys
at least tried to
pursued them.
pursue
Yeah, you did. I mean, I guess technically what I'm doing is some sort of pursuit. I remember being in a basement with a bunch of friends many years ago and just going through the girl that lived there didn't even really know like half the stuff that was down there, so we were going through everything, and we found in this chest a Ouija board.
Okay.
So
opening up other dimensions.
We set that out, and we all put our hands on, and I don't know, like obviously the thing is like someone's controlling it, maybe someone's the one pushing it. But I would tell you, in this group of people that were actually doing this, I would have been the idiot that would have been messing with people trying to push the stuff, but I wasn't. And we were getting some freaky answers, like asking if there was someone there, and it would be like yes, and kept on like asking questions, and it would circle back around and come back to a yes.
Yeah.
Asking a name, and it like I don't remember, but let's say Larry, like.
Good old Larry.
It like, I don't know. Like I don't want to believe.
Yep.
Because I feel like someone had to have been moving it. But of all the people that were there, I would have been the one that would do that, and I wasn't. So I don't know who or what was actually going on. Have either of you ever messed around with a Ouija board?
I will not touch a Ouija board. I don't know why. I won't touch
voodoo?
it. Yeah, Eric, I told you, I don't want to deal with scary. That could open a lot of scary. And you know what? Me and the way my luck goes, I'd probably be the one to open up the big scary portal to the end of the world. So yeah,
I wish. No. I mean, I don't know the history of that house that we were in, but I wish that. I mean, the internet wasn't quite what it is today, too. So it was. Yeah. It was enough ago that I wouldn't have even known how to look up stuff like this. But like, I wish I could have looked more into the history of that house and figured out if whatever random name that thing came, that's whatever the Ouija board said or whatever someone pushed it to was actually a name somehow affiliated with that house or something.
That would be freaky. That absolutely would be.
I should go look now and see if I can dig up any information in the history of that house and see if it does connect to anything that would jog my memory.
Now, what things did you, like you asked, like anything else, like more specific,
honestly,
or just the general?
There was a lot of specifics.
Yeah.
Like just like are you alone? Is there anyone else with you? Type of stuff, and like it was all creepy stuff that. Yeah. Like, again, I wasn't scared. I still had the mindset that someone was doing it, but there was the chills every once in a while that. Well, that's kind of weird. That's kind of a weird answer. And we also, I think we all spent the night there that night too. So,
oh my God.
But not in the basement.
No, thank you.
What is like the story with those things? Are they like made by like Milton Bradley or something, or where do people get that?
I honestly, I'm pretty sure the first Ouija board was made by Milton Bradley. Like it's not like an old thing.
Because that's like, something I'm gonna go and buy at like Toys R Us. I don't think I can contact the dead with. Is my only thing with those things.
Ouija board brought to you by Milton Bradley.
Hasbro.
Oh, it's Hasbro.
Even worse.
Even.
I got no problem with you, Hasbro.
Stupid Hasbro. Jeez.
I like
Hasbro.
Trivial Pursuit, and I believe are they Monopoly too?
Hasbro, stop giving Target exclusive Star Wars figures.
Like Mousetrap.
What?
That's hilarious because that's exactly the game I was thinking of. I was like, oh, what's the name of it? And I was exactly going to say Mousetrap, and I don't know why. I was like,
actually, funny thing. I saw someone post, completely unrelated, but somehow related to what we're talking about now. I saw someone post on Facebook these like fake movie posters of board games if they were if they were horror movies. And there's Mousetrap is one of them.
Yeah.
Hungry Hippos is another one. It only said Hungry once though. And shoot.
I can sort of picture the Hungry Hippos poster.
Shoots and ladders. Basically, it looks like your typical monster.
Yeah.
Underneath Lake Placid type of movie poster.
That's exactly what I was picturing. It was like a Lake Placid type of thing.
You got the hippo coming up from the bottom, and then just and Shoots and Ladders, and it's actually, I'll send it to you guys after. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Now you were just saying like the spooky things like that, and we mentioned like Lake Placid. Have you guys ever been to like or gone to specifically because it was October Halloween time like? Have you ever gone to like Salem or down where that Amityville Horror House was? Have you ever been around any of those places during that time and stopped by and visited at all?
No.
I always I would love to take a photo in front of the Amityville house. Mm-hmm. A coworker actually today, Chris, was talking about wanting to go to the Salem museums. Mm-hmm.
I have friends on.
I mean, that's the thing, too. I am not big into horror movies or scary stuff any other time of the year. But whenever it's October, for some reason, I'm like, let me watch some movies. Let me play some Resident Evil, whatever.
Yeah, see, and that's it. Just now, and again, I don't want to get into the movies a lot, but, I like the scary ones that are, like, honestly, like, at least what they say are true stories. So my one example.
True events.
Based on true events, yeah, exactly. So those I really like, and again, I don't want to delve into it. I'm just going to leave it at that, and we'll get more into it because those are the ones I've really seemed to enjoy. There's a few crazier ones that are more like the fiction, like Jason and all that I'll kind of maybe watch, but not. I haven't watched a lot of those. I watch more of like based on real story, on actual events. So that's at least my choosing.
Have either of you guys been to Gettysburg?
No.
That was my next part. Yes.
Because they say Gettysburg is the most haunted place in America, allegedly. And I remember I've been there several times. I went once as a kid, and my dad and mom bought like that guided tape tour where you put the cassette tape in, and it didn't go into anything about like ghosts or anything like that. So I had been to Gettysburg. And then didn't know anything about like that it was haunted or anything like that. And then on like my senior year of high school, we took like a class trip to Gettysburg. We all like in this history class or something. We got on this coach bus and they played movies on the way down. And one of them was obviously the Gettysburg movie, but one of them was like Ghosts of Gettysburg, and it did all these like ghost stories. And I was like so freaked out. When we got to Gettysburg, I was like, "We're not going to be on the battlefield when it gets dark, are we?" Or
That's awesome.
And I remember there was this one story where this guy, I think he was at, isn't there like a Gettysburg College or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He was sleeping in the dorm room, and the dorm was like, I don't know, turned into like a hospital or something at around the time of the battle. And there was this one story. I mean, there's so many stories, but there was one story that really freaked me out. This guy was like sleeping in his bed on the door, at night, and he like got the sense that somebody was like watching him. So he like turns over. He was like kind of facing like the wall or something like that. So he turns the other way, and there's like this Civil War like officer standing there. And so like he like turns back over, and then waits a few minutes, turns back, he's still there, and then the third time he turns and the guy's gone. And I remember that, like, even now, like, I'm freaked out by this. I'm not going to sleep well tonight just because that's fresh in my mind. And I remember when we slept in the hotel that night, I was like, all right, man, just close your eyes and don't look around or anything like that. Just go to bed. And like, so then years later, I was dating this girl, and she was moving to Florida, so I drove her down. And the way we timed it, we ended up in Gettysburg at like 1:00 in the morning because we left like wicked late. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, cool, but like, I'm just gonna go to the hotel. We're gonna get a hotel outside of Gettysburg because I'm not sleeping in the town. And but like I took a wrong turn somewhere or something, and we ended up right on one of the battlefields. Like there's the monuments and everything like that. And I'm like, we gotta get out of here now. Like I was like freaking out. I'm like, this is the word. No. This is how every horror movie ever started. You took a wrong turn, you end up on the haunted battlefield, and then you're dead. So,
just don't go into the shed with all the chainsaws, and you'll be fine.
No, you got to hide behind the chainsaws.
I went to Gettysburg. What grade did you go to Gettysburg in? Was it like 7th?
Senior year.
Oh, senior year. Okay, yeah. See, we did it when I went to school. We went in 7th grade. That was just part of U.S. history, and so that was a 7th grade trip. I remember, and we did not get. We saw like the Gettysburg movie. That was the only thing they played on the way down. They did not get into the Ghost of Gettysburg, but it was mentioned. But it's like you go through that battlefield and you hear the stories of what people are telling you, and you can't help but just like think of everything that kind of went down there and how horrible it was. Just anything during the Civil War, before that, of how war was actually conducted. Crazy. Not that war now isn't crazy either, but still.
I mean, those ones. Those I tend to believe, like, because I feel like just like the energy, like I'm sounding like woo woo or whatever, but like like charging up giving everything you could to like charge up the battlefield or whatever, and like getting killed doing that. Like I feel like what I mean. That's like the circumstances that like would create a ghost. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, just I want to say a week or two ago, there was an article on Facebook, and there has been another picture taken of what looks like to be a soldier, like a figure on the Gettysburg battlefield that someone just happened to capture while they were doing probably one of the ghost tours.
I remember there was a spot where they would tell you to take a picture because, like, either you would get something like that, like what you're saying, or your camera just wouldn't work. And I took a picture there, and it came out perfectly fine.
and I've heard stories about people that would go. They put like brand new batteries in their camera, that way they wouldn't miss anything when they were doing these trips. They would go to the battlefield, and then in a certain part, maybe what you're saying, like they say take a picture. The person would try and take a picture, or they either saw something, and as soon as they tried to take a picture, their like batteries were dead instantly. Like they hadn't even done anything yet. That was their first picture, and it was already dead. So, yeah. And see, here's the crazy part. I say I don't like ghosts, but honestly, hearing that, I'm like, I really would want to go on the ghost tour. I don't know. I don't understand myself at all sometimes. But
do you think because it's a tour and you're with a bunch of other people?
It could be, but at the same time, I think it'd be just exciting if it was us three doing it. And I think it'd be more exciting because then it's like less protection, and it's like, God, any one of us could go any minute.
So you're very contradicting everything you just said.
I am. I know. I'm very weird about it. I don't know, but I think I like that more. I don't like ghosts that are. It's so stupid. I don't like like horror movie type ghosts. I don't like, but it's like historical ones that something actually happened, like something like that. I don't mind.
Well, because you could learn something from them, They have historical value.
It doesn't freak me out as much as like sitting there seeing Freddy Krueger or Jason coming at me with a chains, whatever they do, claws or chainsaws or machetes. I don't know what they use. They use a plethora of things. So, but yeah, I don't know why the history ones, and it's like when it was an actual person, that doesn't bug me as much. However, that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, like Eric said, I contradict myself totally, but I'm actually kind of like
I understand.
I want to go to Gettysburg.
So, all right. Well, you're freaked out obviously by your evil spirits and your demonic possession type of thing.
Yes, those guys I don't like. They're
but you wouldn't mind a nice soldier or a Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Well, who would mind a friendly ghost?
He's kind of annoying, isn't he?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It would still freak me out a little bit, but I don't think I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's like now I'm really like, dude, I want to go just do a ghost tour. All three of us, let's go. Road trip. Ghost tour.
Okay.
I know Chris won't go. Chris, will you go with us if we decide to do it?
I'll go.
That'd be freaking
I ain't
awesome.
afraid of no ghost.
That would be amazing if we went and did that. Anyways, we're gonna have to talk to the wives.
Have you ever been to any of the other like allegedly local places that are supposed to be haunted, like Beardsley Castle?
Beardsley Castle.
No, I've been on the grounds of the what's the name of the asylum?
Oh, the Utica Lunatic Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is supposed to be real haunted, apparently.
Yeah, they did tours there, didn't they?
For
they
a little
do
bit,
them,
but
they
only
do them like
certain
once a
parts
year
because it's not structurally sound in most of it. So they like have parts, but you're not going through. Like they set up some of the rooms to be like it used to be, but it's not like really going through where the really bad stuff was happening, where the bad juju is. So
have you ever seen?
I haven't heard
like pictures inside there.
I want to say not really. Just someone like posted, like when they were advertising that you could come through and do the basic walkthrough to show the history of that place, which is just a couple of rooms on the first floor. You don't go throughout the whole entire building. Those I've seen a couple pictures of, but that's about it.
I stumbled upon some website that like some guy knew one of the guys that was like the caretaker or something like that, and he let him in there and took pictures, and like it looks like it's straight out of some horror movie. Remember that show on MTV where they like spend the night in like a haunted place or whatever? I can't remember.
Eric, we know it.
Fear.
What was it? Yeah, Fear.
Fear.
It looks exactly like that type of place where you would. You wouldn't even have to like do any like production, like set dressing or anything like that. It's all like ready to go.
Just let it go. Here we go, everybody. Now you said Beardsley Castle. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I forgive me if I'm wrong, Amanda. I'm pretty sure that's where we went for my sister-in-law's wedding.
Yeah, they do weddings.
She got married there. Yeah, she did a wedding there. And I think we went there before for rehearsal and all that. And they have like a restaurant in the downstairs part or a place where you can kind of have food. And we were downstairs too, and nothing. I didn't even know it was haunted, to be honest with you. But you said that, and I was like, that sounds familiar. So
it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's one of those places where I read somewhere online. I don't know whether this is true or not. I've never spoken to anyone that like works there or anything like that. But apparently, there's like a floor or something or an area that they closed off because there was so much activity. Like the workers would be like cleaning up at night and all these weird things would happen and stuff like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I went there once and had dinner, and I remember a lot of stories took place in the bathroom there for whatever reason. And
really?
And I remember thinking to myself, oh, cool, I just won't go to the bathroom. But then I got there and I was like, I got to go to the bathroom.
I got to go to the bathroom.
So, yeah. So I went in there and I didn't have any problems. So it was everything came out okay, if you know what I mean.
Did you have to have a friend go with you? You'd be like, hey, you got to go too? Good, let's go.
No, I was on a date actually with a female, so it's not like I could bring her in there.
I was on a date with a female.
Like, hey,
those female dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, those female dates,
Yeah, I had the bright idea of like going there on a date, and then I was like, because I heard that it was haunted, so I just wanted to say that I had been there or whatever, and then like the night before that I went out there, I was like reading online all these ghost stories, and I was like freaked out the whole time I was there. I was like, we got to get out of here.
Oh.
And I know they say, what, the Stanley's haunted too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. From what though? I don't understand. Like what? I mean,
you just reminded me of an interesting story.
Oh.
About the Stanley.
So, because I don't know, I actually got a really cool behind the scenes tour when I was working for another company. Like we did a whole behind the scenes of like the Stanley. Like I got in the very, like when you go in the Stanley, there's that like upper dome part. Once you get past like the balcony, and you kind of get past that, and you look up, and there's just this huge dome thing. That is all 100% like a mixture of concrete and wire or wrought iron up there. And so I got to like walk up in that part, which to me in history, I'm a big history buff. I love everything just history wise to hear about it, and to be up there and to look down. And then I got in front over the stage itself, and there's like these, there's that big grand looking like wood looking structures in the front. So I was up in front of that looking down at all the seats. So it's an amazing building. It really is, but nothing scary happened. This is what I'm saying. I think ghosts are scared of me.
Don't they have a rumor, or I mean, it wouldn't just be a rumor. It might be true because it's pretty easy to prove if it's not. But I heard like that they leave like a seat open in respect for that ghost or whatever.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. I've heard that. I can't put any claim to whether that's true or not. But.
Huh. Interesting.
So what's your story, Chris?
Because I'd always heard that it was haunted too, but like from being, at work and stuff, we've done a bunch of stuff at the Stanley over the years, so I've been in there quite a bit. And like Chuck was saying, I've been in some parts of the place that people don't normally get to go.
Yeah.
And I never really had a weird feeling in the place or anything like that. But the day we got married, my wife and I, like, it was one of the places we went to take pictures after the wedding. And so it was like the middle of the day. It was like closed down and everything. But they had set up for they were doing a screening of some movie. I don't remember which one it was. So the screen was like set up on the stage. And we kind of like walked into the theater part, which is not like where you typically take photos or whatever, but the door was open, so we just walked in, and some people from in the wedding party were from out of town and had never been in there and stuff. And so I said to them, I go, yeah, supposedly this place is haunted. And then they're like, really? And they're like, it's like literally as soon as I finished saying that, the projector turned on and the movie started playing. And so like like as it turns out, it was just they were doing like a projector test or whatever. But like it was like could not have been time
uncanny timing.
Yeah,
that's great.
Because like as soon as it turned on, everybody's face just kind of like dropped, and we're like, huh?
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
And
yeah,
then
I love the Stanley.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building.
But again,
I can add that I've been in the Adirondack Bank Center, as it's now known, but previously the Utica Memorial Auditorium. And I've heard some people say weird stuff about that place too, but I've never, as much as I've been there, I've never really experienced anything crazy. But it's just when you're alone in a building that big at night, and you know you're alone, any little noise is just like, well, what the heck was that?
Yeah.
Whether it just be some settling in the roof or who knows, maybe a little mouse that just happens by or something. I don't know. But like,
yeah.
I'm also usually the person that's there alone with someone else and totally creeping them out while we're there. Emphasizing oh, did you hear that? What was that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I haven't. I mean, we've been there late a couple times, Eric, and I never really did that there. It's no. I'd just be like, what? I'd be like, shut up. You're fine. See, but we're always like testing videos, so the lights are on and sound is on, and so it's like when we've been there, it hasn't been anything.
Oh, actually, crazy. That was one of the creepier times. I was there with the girl that was doing game production at the time, and we were messing around with the lights. So we were going completely black for times, and it was just, then I would be like, "Oh my god, you hear that?"
Yeah. So,
does anyone no one has like an actual ghost story from there though, do they?
No.
I've never heard one.
No,
I've
heard. I don't know anything specific. I've heard people say that, oh, it's haunted, but I'm like, well, what's your story? It's a building that was built in the early 50s.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
50s,
that
late 50s.
It's not
late
that.
50s.
It's not that old, like technically.
Nah, yeah,
like, I feel like I'm gonna haunt that place when I go.
I'm trying to think where else. Do they think that what else do they? I mean, graveyards. They do it. Do they do it at Crown Hill? Do they go and do like ghost walks through there or anything like that? Or I don't know. I figure graveyard's a great place to go. So, but in Crown Hill has like it's scary and it's kind of weird to say, but they have like some beautiful like memorials that are put in there for people or gravestones and things like that. It's just like that place is crazy if you've actually kind of gone through it. And I feel like kind of.
Graveyards are like where you feel like should be spooky, but in actuality they're not. Like that's where people go to rest in peace.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know
because that's not. Yeah, usually whenever I think of like a ghost is somewhere, it's because that's where like if it's at a house, it's because that's where that person died in that room. That's where something happened, and their energy.
They don't follow their body.
Exactly. They don't. So, I mean, they're not going to the graveyard and be like, I'm going to hang out here now because that's where my body is.
That being said, have either of you two been like walking through a graveyard late at night?
Nope.
Yes.
I'm not dumb.
Yeah. We used to, in Ilion, like there was this one graveyard where you would like cut through, like it was a shortcut to go from one side of town basically to the other. And like we used to walk through it all the time at night. I never had any problems.
But did you ever have like the feeling sometimes where it's just like, oh, this is kind of creepy?
I mean, yeah, but I think that's all in your head. Like I don't think it's like.
I mean, it absolutely is all in your head. But like I remember a couple years in a row, one of my friends lives kind of by that graveyard by the parkway, and we would actually go up into that graveyard and find a high part of the hill and watch the fireworks on 4th of July from the graveyard. Probably completely illegal, but...
Did you have any experiences?
I remember one of the people we were with got completely freaked out because she heard something, but it was actually just other people creeping through had the exact same idea we had.
Yeah.
So other than that, no.
Did you ever do, like when you were a kid, did you ever do one of those haunted corn maze things?
Mm-mm.
No, not corn mazes. I did a couple haunted house things. Never a corn maze, though.
Yeah.
I remember there was like one in, I think it was like Litchfield or something like that when I was growing up. And like, that's where all the Ilion people would go. And so like one night me and my friends went, and it just so happened to be like one of the nights where like, the girls from like this group of girls from a grade below us went. We were probably in like 8th grade, and the girls were in 7th grade or something like that. And like there's the guy with the chainsaw that doesn't have like a chain on or whatever, it fires up and stuff like that, and like he follows you around and stuff. And so like we're going through the thing, and like as a young teenager, it was like the coolest thing because like all the girls are like grabbing and like being scared and stuff, and like I was like scared too, but like I didn't want to show it. I remember there was this one part. There was this one part where we figured the guy with the chainsaw. We had to go into like a building type of thing that they had set up. It wasn't like an actual building. It was like set up type of thing for the maze. And like, I'm like, I know the guy's in there, but like, and like I had like literally like 4 girls like latched onto me, and they were kind of like pushing me in because they wanted me to go in first. And like, I didn't really want to go in. But I was like, screw it. And I just like ran through, and I remember being like halfway through the thing, and I hear like, and the guy, those were fun. Those were fun when you were a kid, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Crown Hill. I think it's right up in Deansboro. I think that's where it is. And they had a haunted hayride type thing, but then the people would like jump on there, and there's the chainsaws and people run around screaming and stuff like. But it wasn't anything like the one thing I haven't done that's very popular around here is I have not gone to KO Industrial, and done any of their stuff. Because I'm very afraid of what I will do to the person that tries to scare me, because I'm very reactive and I get very punchy.
Yeah, I've seen those type of videos where someone just like turns around and punches just because that's their reaction.
Yes, and that's what I'm afraid I would do, because I'll be, even though I shouldn't be getting hurt or anything, I'll be very reactive, which is what I'm afraid I would do to somebody. So that's part of the reason. But I do have to say, with KO Industrial, when I was, again, working with a different, the first company I was working with when I got out of college, KO Industrial was just starting up, and they were at the Herkimer County Jail, which is in a building. The jail was in a building in the basement, and that's where they were. And you went in there, and there was all these jail cells, and it's just like a random building on like, I don't want to say Main Street, but on like a side street in Herkimer that you wouldn't expect like this to be where the county jail was, that would hold all these people. But back in the 1800s. That's where they kind of held them, and then they had their trials, and then they either, they didn't really have jail, so I think they hung them. Yeah. Yeah. So they had, the KO Industrial had like some of their first haunted houses. In essence, it's more than that. What they do, it's kind of rude for me to call it a haunted house, but in essence, that's what they're doing. They had their first one there, and when we went through, and the guy was kind of showing us, like he came from New York City. He was like a film student, and so this was just his little side gig, something to do, and it was like a project for school, and it was so successful that he's kind of continued it on, and now he does it up in Rome, I believe, is where he is now doing it, and that's probably going on right now. So if you like getting scared and don't mind, and you're not punchy, you can definitely go check that out. You can find them online for sure, but yeah, they do a great job. Yeah, if you're from the area, that's fine. If you're not, you can take it. Hey, come on down. It's up in Rome, New York. Go ahead and, you'll find them online and go have some fun.
Like you, I've actually never been through, but I've always heard good things. Yeah.
Yes, I have. And then they do like 2 different kinds. Like sometimes they have like a madhouse and a psych ward, or they have like different versions. So sometimes you go there and it's like you can just buy the one or the other, or you can get it like a package deal and go do that too. So I'm not brave enough. I'm really not. It's the bravery, and if I had to do it, like let's say right now you guys wanted to go and do it, I wouldn't. I would go and do it. I just, on my own liberty and my own, I will not just be like, yeah, sure, let's go do that. No, okay. But if I had a group of people that said, yeah, let's go, I wouldn't, be a sucker and be a punk. And
I feel like I'm the same way. Like, I'm not going out of my way for that, but if my group of friends were going at the time, I go.
Exactly. So, but yeah, they do a great job. I'm trying to think here. What else is spooky? I don't know. It's like if you could go somewhere. So Eric, you had said earlier you'd like to go take a picture at the Amityville house. Chris, is there anywhere if you could and you wanted to go, is there anywhere you would want to go that's like known to be kind of like a spooky town or anything like that? Or
I think I'd like to go to do like an actual like ghost tour of Gettysburg if they actually have something like that. You know, I mean, I've been there, but like more so for the historical aspect of it, you know.
I think we got to make this a trip. I think we just got to do this.
Like we already touched on, Salem would be pretty cool too.
Salem's got to be insane. I have friends that do that that's like some of their thing, and Salem every year. I think it would be interesting. Again, there's history, so I'm interested in it. That's what I mean. It's not a great history. Don't get me wrong. It's not anything that's fun, but it's still like history, and I would like to go see it, I guess. So, but yeah, Gettysburg, I'd love to go do that too. That would be a lot of fun to go do a ghost tour.
Or I would do like old Europe, you know, go over there, and I'm sure they got. I don't know of anything like off the top of my head, but like I'm sure
The
there's
Jack
like,
the Ripper tour.
Yeah,
that would be freaking scary. At night, I guess they go to all the places where Jack the Ripper like found the people he was going to murder, and they kind of take you around this whole entire part of England or London or whatever.
seedy part of London.
Sorry. Yeah,
I want to say that they say the most haunted city or area in the United States is, besides Gettysburg, is New Orleans.
Oh yeah, I've heard that also. Yeah,
I haven't heard that. That's interesting.
I've heard a lot of stuff about down there too.
Now, what did they say that's from? Obviously, there wasn't really a war down there, I think. Or like, what's haunting about it? Do you know it all or not really? You just heard that?
I don't remember. I honestly just listened to a podcast that touched on its history because it was actually about a happening down there and how it is haunted. But they didn't really go too much into detail, so it didn't stick in my mind if there was any reasoning why it's a hot spot.
Yeah. Okay. No, just curious because I'm trying to think. There's no real war. The only thing I can think of back New Orleans, crazy times down there was like when America was first being discovered. That was a port, and a lot of I want to say pirates were down that way a little bit as they were kind of coming around. They kind of come up through the Gulf, and that would be a place that they would stop is New Orleans. I could be totally making this up, but I feel I did see a show on something like that.
A quick excerpt from NewOrleans.com says, New Orleans is the most haunted city in the United States. This city is a place where the dead refuse to rest. In fact, there is no solid ground to hold them.
Oh, is that what it is? Because like all the swamp and stuff like that down there?
And they have a lot of practitioners for the mystical arts, voodoo queens who profess vampires and Wiccans.
I was going to say a lot of witchcraft.
Yeah, I thought of the voodoo thing too, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah,
wasn't that where they went and Interview with a Vampire? Wasn't that where they were living?
Yes, I believe that's continued in the story that I was reading. I think it does mention Interview with a Vampire, to American Horror Story, and True Blood. I'll have setting in there.
Oh, is that where True Blood was? I never watched that.
Apparently.
I don't think I did either. I haven't seen Interview with the Vampire either, though. So.
Oh, you never saw that? It was pretty good. Kirsten Dunst's introduction to the world. No? Nothing, Chuck?
Nope.
No.
Nope, nothing. You know, a typical Chuck. Yeah, no, nothing. So,
I'll make a recommendation quick though, based on what I was just talking about. If anyone is very unsatisfied with us not having any real ghost experiences, there is this podcast called Supernatural with Ashley Flowers, and that has some really well told creepy tales of whether it be hauntings or possession stories or conspiracy theories of creepy stuff, and a lot of alien stuff too. That's well worth checking out.
What's it called again?
Supernatural with Ashley Flowers.
Okay. Interesting.
I when I was sick a couple weeks ago, that I binged listening to that. So I went through all whatever. It started this year actually. I think in February, and I listened to everyone they've put out.
Huh. Yeah, I'd have to check that one out. Of course, I don't know. Is it too scary?
Maybe. I was really like, I was listening because I was sick too, so I was up at the middle of the night anyway. So I'm like, let me put something spooky on. What's the worst that could happen?
I already feel like death. Just bring it on. Oh dear. So okay, well, for spooky stories, I think we kind of covered that pretty well, guys. So, you know what I would love to hear, though, if anybody's listening to this, we would love to hear your spooky stories from wherever you are. I mean, I've been looking, and we've been kind of expanding throughout the whole Midwest now. So people out in Colorado, Nebraska, Michigan are kind of listening. We got Illinois, sorry. But I just saw the other day, we have people listening all the way in Japan now, too. So we're expanding quite a ways around the world here. If you guys have any stories, I would love to hear stories. I'd love for you guys to share it on Facebook. Send it to us because we'd love to sit there and share. We'd love to share our stories, but we want to hear your stories, especially like if you've been to places that we kind of mentioned and maybe you did have an experience. That'd be fantastic to like hear what your thoughts are on it. Or if there's places we didn't mention that you could, let us know, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of interested in doing a Gettysburg ghost tour there. I think that'd be, I think that would be like amazing to try and see what would happen, which probably nothing, because I think they do these every, around this time every year. And you don't hear a lot of stories from people like, oh, this, that, but still, it'd be fun. So everybody, anything else you guys want to add, or are you guys pretty good?
I think that about covers it.
Yeah, I think so too. So for Eric and Chris, I am Chuck. Everybody, we thank you very much for listening to the Bacon on the Rocks, and we will be here next week for an all-new episode of Bacon on the Rocks.
Or will we?